Alright guys, welcome back to Game 4, and after that spectacular start by Slush, he was finally knocked out by Complexity MVP Finale, and we have the next player from ReIGN coming up here. It is ReIGN's Inori, down in the bottom right hand corner, an extremely talented Protoss player, and will be facing off against Complexity MVP Finale.
Yes indeed, so we have PvP action on Tal'Dorei and Malter, and Inori is, you know, like every PvP I've seen from him, he's gone for this map. He just loves playing this map. Now, conventionally, Wisdom would say, oh, it's Tal'Dorei and Malter. You have even ground between your main and natural. That choke is actually pretty wide for something that goes from your main to your natural. It's a 4-gate heaven. So we're going to see if anything different happens there. Now, do remind, hopefully you guys are reminded, when Dignitas played against Slayers, Bishu taking the lone game for Dignitas against Slayers actually specifically chose this map to do a mass Immortal Zealot build.
He actually did that, I recall that. He did that to counter what he thought would be a 4-gate.
And it was.
And it was. And it worked.
Yes, it did.
It was
Crank
very
4-gated, very aggressive 4-gate. It was all Stalker Zealots, and Bishu actually held it like a champ. So, there you go.
Yeah, man. I mentioned in that cast we might be seeing a possible way to deal with 4-gate on Tal'Dorei and Malter.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's well-known enough amongst the community. It might have been just something that he thought up of himself, and we'll have to see if both players decide to just go the standard, you know, I'm going to 4-gate on Tal'Dorei and Malter, or if they're going to try to switch it up and use the build that we saw in that cast.
All right, well, the builds will be revealed pretty soon. Looks like Inori is putting out his second pylon quite a bit later than his opponent, but nothing too out of the ordinary for either player quite yet. As taking a look at worker counts, basically the same. Yeah, Inori's just slightly ahead in his build time there. Chrono Boost is actually in Finale's favor at the moment. He's saving up quite a bit more than his opponent. Inori had been expending that on probes a little bit longer.
So, slight deviations, but nothing too major. And
it is
we have
PvP, yes.
Finale coming in here with the probe. A little bit of harassing. Let's see if he can get some kills. No, he will not. And Inori's doing a good job of just kind of not overreacting to the scouting probe, something you really learn when you're playing against Protoss.
Now, Inori's actually scouting totally the wrong position, and it's going to take him another couple of minutes in-game before he finds his opponent. Thus, he's going to have to react pretty blindly to what his opponent is doing. He's not really going to get a good scout on there. And there's a Zealot chasing down the probe. Probe says, all right, my shenanigans are done. I promise, I'm out of here. And he's going to continue to try and get a little more scouting, but don't think he's going to get any more shots off on any of those probes.
Not with a Stalker coming out of that gateway now to follow the Zealot.
Right.
I think Inori will be able to clean it up.
Look at this. Cheeky little probe there. 3-gate from Inori. His opponent, on the other hand, that's gateways number 2 and 3, and that probe's still sitting there. I think we're going to see number 4.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a 4th gate. So Finale just following what would be the cookie-cutter style of Protoss versus Protoss and Tal'Dorei and Malter. And Nori, though, hasn't thrown down the 4th gate yet.
Yeah.
It's quite possible he might switch it up here and go for something like a robotics facility.
3-gate robo or something like that. Certainly possible. And if you guys don't remember, Inori actually took place as Team FXO at IPL 3 and actually did very well, knocking out a bunch of notable players. Those notable players, of course, being in the first round, in the round of 32 in the champ bracket, it was MC, and then it was Huck. So he actually did extremely well.
Yeah, Nori is just one of those players that not too many people know about, but he's quite talented. A lot of people in the community know and fear him. And let's see what's going on here. There's a pylon, so he still hasn't revealed what he wants to do. It's just straight up 3-gate.
You know, but it was 3-gate with aggressive 4-gate units. It's been all Stalkers. He's just Chrono Boosted Stalkers. He's let his Warp Gate actually pop out quite a bit later in favor of expending the Chrono Boost to get out additional units. And I've got to say, the supplies have reflected themselves pretty well as he's kept even on his opponent and had superior forces. Superior money on hand to go ahead and deal with everything. So this is not looking bad for Nori. He's actually up by 7 supply, and he's only 3-gated to his opponent's 4-gate.
Huh, that's interesting. And he has more units on the field right now, I believe. It's pretty close, actually.
Yeah, no, you are right.
Yeah,
Nori's
he has
up
one
by
more.
A Stalker and a Zealot.
That's pretty incredible. So I guess Chrono Boost here actually being more effective than dropping down a 4th gate in this situation.
Yeah, we'll see if
Is it a blanket situation, though, or is it just some kind of mistake that Finale had in his build order?
I don't know. We'll find out. No, Finale's played this pretty clean so far.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna be just about where you want to be as far as supply goes with another warp in here. He's got to get on supply blocked in a second. It looks like he is going to engage, and Inori's got to back up as there are a bunch of zealots that are making their way in. He'll have to have another warp in of those in just a bit, but he's still ahead in supply.
Yeah, but here's the weakness, I think, of Inori's build of expending Warp Gate. He doesn't have the ability to offensively warp in as soon as Finale does, and he's fighting on his turf rather than fighting in the middle of the field. So that's the one weakness. But I think that can be overcome just because he has more units on the field. There is a little bit of back and forth tug of war right now, but with the Zealots coming in from Inori's side, he will be able to push that back. He kills off a Stalker.
Did you just see that micro right there? He sent his Zealot up to go ahead and attack the Stalker so we could allow the Stalkers to deal with the Zealots that were at the back. A couple more Zealots now coming in for Inori as well. Zealot numbers are falling, but Inori is still ahead by about 5 supply at the moment. Doing pretty well in that regard. Up by 7 actually now, and he's got a little bit of a Zealot advantage. So this little tug of war that's going to go back and forth is actually starting to turn into Inori's favor. As soon as that Zealot goes down, he can shift his units and actually start making his way up to pressure this forward position.
Yeah, but the Finale is continuing to warp in here. He knows he's got to do some damage. He's going to try to break the front. A force field goes down. Inori trying to get some sentries here. Now sentries have dual usage. Not only can they launch force fields at that choke, but they can also use Guardian shields. But remember, by warping in sentries, he limits the amount of Zealots and Stalkers he's got on the field. Warp gates do have a cooldown time.
Right. But you know, that may actually end up working pretty well for him. I think Guardian Shield is going to be pretty good. Oh, look at that. Traps a bunch of units. Yeah, you called it. And those Zealots are starting to go to work. However, looks like Finale had a few behind as well. But look at this. A 17 supply advantage. Finale is actually losing by 4 gating to a straight up 3 gate. That's
this is
incredibly impressive.
Yeah, and Nori has made this build work out very well, and it seems like just chrono boosting your original 3 gateways before they get into Warp Gate, delaying your Warp Gate tech, somehow, some way, gets your units out a little bit faster, and he's been able to overpower Finale. Now he's starting to move out into the middle of the field, so the one disadvantage he had, Cats, which was no map control, no terrain at all, is starting to go his way.
Right. This is actually really, really incredible. I'm actually very impressed by this, and now that the Robo's thrown in, he's kicking out an Immortal at the same time. So essentially what this does is, by expending the chrono boost on the gateways at the very beginning of the game, it allows you to match the production of a 4-gate through the typical attack period of an offensive 4-gate, which is exactly what we saw. Add on top of that, it offers you the flexibility of being able to move into some sort of tech afterwards. He's actually expanding. Inori is expanding out of this. He feels he has such a great advantage. This is actually incredible.
Yeah, this could, I say it all the time, this could revolutionize PvP, but if you think about it, the beauty really is in a normal 4-gate, you're using chrono boost on the Warp Gate technology. In Inori's style, he's using chrono boost on the actual gateways.
Yeah.
Incredibly so. He's ahead right now, and I don't know how he's going to lose this game. I think he's going to win it.
I do too. He's matched production. He had more workers. He had more flexibility in his tech choices. And because of the 150 resources he saved on that 4th Warp Gate, he's able to invest in tech and an expansion all that much quicker.
This is incredible.
That's very, very cool. All right, well, Inori's going to scout his opponent and see that
it's the sad thing here, too,
right now
is Finale probably thinks Inori 4-gated it himself. That's the only way he could have lost that battle in his mind. But he doesn't realize what actually happened.
This is really cool. All right, so here comes Finale. He's actually going to flank with a couple of Zealots at the back as well. First round of force fields actually trapping off quite a few of those Stalkers. It's going to allow him to deal with these Zealots that are sitting here. First of all, Guardian Shield did go down. Yeah, and he's absolutely not, and that means this Immortal is going to come back and get a couple more kills. It doesn't matter. GG. Wow. And Inori is taking game number 3 for ReIGN. That puts him up 3-1 in the set, heading into game number 5. Congratulations to Team ReIGN.
Do you think...
수상장